On a rainy Thursday, we will be your ray of sunshine. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Welcome to it. Conservative thought, not just talk, a tour de force of truth, and some fun throws in. It all goes into what we call broadcast excellence, or more accurately, broadcast competence. We aim low and try to clear at least a mediocre bar, and oftentimes we even succeed. If you'd like to join us, adventknows.com talk and text line, always open. 414-799-1130, 1-800-838-9476 is our toll-free talk and text line. You can email me anytime, dod@iheartmedia.com, at Dan O'Donnell Show on Twitter/X, where we are streaming live right now. The Dan O'Cam is on, also at facebook.com/Dan O'Donnell Show and youtube.com/Dan O'Donnell Show. Be sure to, as the kids say, like and subscribe, smash that like button. Get notifications when we go live every day at about 9 a.m. Central Time. You can also watch replays of those videos wherever. Be sure to subscribe to the Dan O'Donnell Show podcast as well. If it wasn't enough that you get great information and occasional, not often, but occasional entertainment, we also bribe you to listen to us. We call it the Fall Fortune Cash Contest. The word this hour, money, M-O-N-E-Y. Go to our website, enter the keyword money, and you will win $1,000 in cash money if your entry is picked at random. You've got until 55 past the hour. Go enter money. We have got about a week and 2 days left in this contest. We wrap it up Friday, November 17th, always the Friday before Thanksgiving in this nationwide contest. I don't do this often or ever. Frankly, I think this is the first time I've ever done this. But I want to dedicate this show to a special listener who is marking her 90th birthday today. Her name is Liz White. And all the way back on July 28th, I got a letter. Not an email, but a typed letter from Liz's family. Dear Dan O'Donnell, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm writing to you today on behalf of our beloved mother and grandmother, Liz, who will be celebrating her 90th birthday on November 8th, 2023. Liz is a fan of yours and listens to your show every day. She has always spoken fondly of you and your talent, and I know that receiving a birthday card from you would be the highlight of her special day. I understand that you're incredibly busy and receive countless requests, but I wanted to reach out to you personally to see if it might be possible to send Liz a 90th birthday card. I can assure you that this simple gesture would mean the world to her and make her day truly unforgettable. To be clear, we are not asking for a gift, just a simple birthday message. Liz is homebound and lives in central Wisconsin. Again, no gifts. If you are able, please send a birthday card to her granddaughter, Eva, and then she lists her address. Thank you for taking the time to read our letter and for all the joy and inspiration you have brought to my mother's/grandmother's life through your work. Sincerely, Eva, Barb, second oldest child, Vicky, third oldest child, Sue, fifth oldest child, Linda, seventh oldest child, and Eva, second oldest grandchild. P.S. Liz has 8 grandchildren and, 8 children and 10 grandchildren. Wow. I actually kept this letter on my desk for months. And I wanted to wait to surprise Liz because, believe it or not, I don't get a lot of requests like that. I'll get requests to speak somewhere or give a shout out on the air or something like that. This was one of the first times I've ever had a request. Hey, could you just give a simple birthday card to my grandma? It would really mean the world to her. So I put this aside and said, you know what? When November 8th rolls around, I'm going to do something special. Now, I sort of misread the letter. It had been a while, and I kind of glanced at it briefly yesterday. I knew today I'm going to be busy with appointments and meetings. We're Obviously going to the Tucker Carlson event tonight, put on by our great friends at the MacIver Institute, Sharon Lynn Wilson Center for the Arts in Brookfield. I will be there. My family will be there. I've just got meetings and things all day today. So I said yesterday, which coincidentally enough was my mom's birthday. Happy belated birthday, Mom. Yes, I did call my mom and send her flowers for her birthday yesterday. I'm not just remembering it right now. But I said right after the show, I am going to go down to this address, and I bought a little flower display and a card and a little News Talk 1130 WISN mug. I mistakenly believed that this address, which is in Milwaukee, was Liz's address. She lives in central Wisconsin. I mistook this for her address. It's actually the granddaughter's address, Eva's. And my intent was to drop off this stuff and say, hey, Liz, hopefully, she doesn't get scared at this random dude showing up at her house. She's sitting there on the phone with 911. Yeah, maybe she's got her shotgun. She's like ambling over to get her shotgun. But I thought, what would be really special and as a way to say thank you to Liz for listening, I was going to stop by and hang out with her. Well, I arrived at the house, knocked on the door, nobody answered. So I called phone number that I was able to get and talked to Eva. She said, oh my goodness, I can't believe you took time out of your day. And I said, you know what, this is the sort of thing that reminds me why I do what I do, what all of us here in radio do. That connection that we have for someone. Liz is homebound. She doesn't leave her house. She's a widow. She doesn't have a whole lot of contact. Obviously, she's got a big family that loves her very much, but on a day-to-day level, her children and grandchildren are busy with their lives, and she doesn't have a whole lot of contact. And I said to Eva, your letter served as a reminder, and I kept it on my desk for so long because it reminded me that the power of radio to connect people, that it may be a one-way conversation, but every morning I was having a conversation with Liz. I was giving her the day's events, and Eva said, oh man, you have no idea. Liz would call up and she would talk about things that she heard on your show. She was incredibly sharp. She was with it. She loved politics. She loved debate. Her mind was so strong. But Dan, I've got some really bad news. About 6 weeks ago, Liz passed away very suddenly. She left behind a wonderful family who was apparently so appreciative of what I thought was just a simple little gesture. I had an hour or two to kill. Why not spend it with a special listener? Liz was an RN who became a nurse in the 1950s, and she would actually travel to patients' homes in some of the toughest neighborhoods of Chicago. She got married to her husband, Chuck, and settled down as a homemaker to raise 8 children. Times got tough in the 1970s. She went back to work again as an RN to help out. She was a Girl Scout leader, a Eucharistic minister, a singer in the choir. In her later years, she started the Prayer Shawl Ministry at Queen of Apostles Catholic Church in Pewaukee. She was its leader for 20 years and only relinquished that title this past April. She was, according to her daughter, a devout Catholic, a believer in the sanctity of life, and always an optimist. Her daughter, Susan, says, I was very fortunate to have a mother who cherished her years raising her family with my father, Chuck. But during her career as an RN, she was methodical as well as compassionate. She was a born leader, yet she taught us that sometimes you can be just as effective using your soft side. Rest in peace, Liz, and thank you for reminding me of why it is I do what I do. This show is dedicated to your memory and to your family, who have pretty much spent the last night and this morning saying thank you for trying to make her special day as special as it could be. And I will say, I've got a picture of Liz from the letter that is going to be in my office forever to serve as a reminder of why it is that I so thoroughly love and am so passionate about this medium of radio. Sure, we have the Dano Cam and we broadcast video too, but radio is this intimate one-on-one connection that we really do have. And I guess this is a great opportunity, a couple of weeks shy of Thanksgiving, to say how thankful I am to all of you for spending part of your morning with me, for making me a part of your routine, and especially to those of you who are older, to those of you who don't have a lot of day-to-day contact with family or friends and who feel like, sometimes you're alone. I can tell you, it is an intense, incredible responsibility that I feel to always be there for you, and I always will. So this show is dedicated to the memory of Liz White. God bless you, Liz. We're going to step aside for a very quick break. Then, of course, we're going to get into, shall we say, less than stellar election results across the country last night.
Don't wait for Black Friday. Shop Stein's pre-Black Friday sale, featuring Wisconsin's largest selection of quality Lifelike Christmas trees, all at 50% off. And this week only, push, pull, or carry in your old tree and receive up to a $50 credit towards the purchase of a new tree. Stein's Tree Trade-In is here. Stein's Garden and Home.
Whether you're a winter fanatic or a spring enthusiast, Door County offers activities you'll love, and Pheasant Park Resort offers a special you'll really love. Book 2 nights and get a 3rd night free. Good through May 16th. Enjoy winter, spring, or book a stay for both seasons. Ice skating, snowmobiling, cross-country skiing, ice fishing and sledding, or golf, boating, fishing, hiking, biking. Sister Bay and Door County has you covered. And Pheasant Park Resort has your 3rd night covered. Visit pheasantparkresort.com to reserve.
Choose from countless luxury flooring options at Flawless Flooring's New Berlin or Delafield Idea Gallery. Flawless Flooring's employee-only installers beautify your everyday going forward right after eliminating carpet stains and stink. Sensory underload, Flawless Flooring, flawlessflooringllc.com.
If you're someone who is experiencing shoulder, hip, or knee pain and a total joint replacement may be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. Find them at orthowisconsin.com.
Why are the world's central banks quietly yet aggressively amassing mountains of gold? Because they know a storm is brewing, the type we might witness only once in our lifetimes. They understand that America's vastly inflated currency doesn't have much life left. And when it finally dies, gold will be a bedrock of stability just as it has for thousands of years. Hi, Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to do as central banks are doing. How? By diversifying your IRA or 401k into physical gold with Birch Gold Group. This will protect your savings from inflation, political instability, and economic crashes. To see how it works, get a free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word PROTECT to 989898. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, so text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Tune in every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. as Ellenbecker Investment Group highlights local people and organizations who are using their time and their talents to give back to make a difference in our community. Milwaukee's philanthropic community. Visit ellenbecker.com to learn more.
make a quick correction. Have you ever gone through an entire morning thinking it was Thursday when it's actually Wednesday? I did say Thursday. Thank you. Dave says I was on a roll. He wasn't going to interrupt me. The Germans did bomb Pearl Harbor, doggone it. And it's Thursday. It is Wednesday. That means guess what's racist coming up in about an hour. The House, on its second effort, censures Rashida Tlaib, and Democrats would very much like you to know that sometimes words mean different things. Like when you say, we'd really like to eradicate Israel, it doesn't mean we'd really like to eradicate Israel. In spite of the obvious anti-Semitism coming from the left wing, in spite of the economy that has essentially priced Americans out of the market for living, in spite of the fact that Joe Biden is historically unpopular, so much so that even one of the chief advisors to the Obama campaign and Obama presidency is openly saying Joe Biden needs to drop out, Democrats continued something of a winning streak last night. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, Democrat, defeated Daniel Cameron, the Republican Attorney General, and in his victory speech made a less than veiled reference to the state of politics in the what I still consider to be Trump era.
Victory that sends a loud, clear message. A message that candidates should run for something and not against someone. That a candidate should show vision and not sow division. And a clear statement that anger politics should end right here and right now.
Now, at this point, I will point out to Governor Beshear that I'm not seeing any angrier politics than the people who were trying to break into the White House and smearing red paint all over Freedom Plaza over the weekend while screeching for totally not the destruction of Israel and replacement of it with a Palestinian state, but an end to the Israeli genocide? What? Totally happy politics. I mean, these are happy warriors in the extreme. The gubernatorial candidate that Republicans put up was remarkably similar to the one that Republicans put up here in Wisconsin. And the reason that Daniel Cameron lost is actually also remarkably similar. You might remember that Tim Michels won a bruising primary against Rebecca Kleefisch, and then almost instantly had to pivot into a general election matchup with a very well-funded, relatively popular incumbent who is able to distinguish himself as a Wisconsin Democrat as opposed to a Joe Biden Democrat. In addition, the issue of abortion loomed large. Cameron emerged back in May from a 12-candidate field and had to spend a whole ton of money winning that primary. Sound familiar? He was essentially tapped out for much of the summer, whereas Beshear could outspend him, and outside money from all across the country, typically liberal enclaves like California, flooded in and just buried Cameron by about a 10-to-1 margin. The abortion issue was also critical. In the closing days of the campaign, the Beshear campaign put out this ad, which is about as devastating gets. It's a teenage girl looking directly into the camera and saying this.
I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. I was 12. Anyone who believes there should be no exceptions for rape and incest could never understand what it's like to stand in my shoes. This is to you, Daniel Cameron. To tell a 12-year-old girl she must have the baby of her stepfather who raped her is unthinkable. I'm speaking out because women and girls need to have options. Daniel Cameron would give us none.
This goes in line with what happened in Ohio last night, where the right to an abortion won overwhelmingly in what is no longer and hasn't been for some time a swing state. Ohio is a Republican state. Moreover, yes, on the abortion right, one in deeply Republican counties. In addition to that, Ohio legalized recreational marijuana. All of this should point to some serious headwinds in the presidential election cycle. In Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin swept into office along with two other statewide Republicans. First time in a long time that happened. Top three statewide offices, governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general, were held by Republicans. First time in a long time. Republicans were actually hopeful that they'd be able to win both the state Senate and their state House of, is it Burgesses or delegates? I forget what they call it, but it's like the state assembly here in Wisconsin, state house. Not only did Republicans lose the state Senate, they also lost control of the state House of Delegates. It was a bad night all the way around. In Mississippi, the incumbent Republican governor Tate Reeves did win. There are a number of things at play here. None of them are particularly good for Republicans. Given the political climate that we're in right now, global instability, wars breaking out in Ukraine, in the Middle East, inflation still not under control, sky-high interest rates, a general sense that people can't afford things that they could easily, housing, rent, food, basic necessities, things that they could easily afford before Joe Biden took office, they can't anymore. You would think this would be an incredible environment for Republicans, correct? Wrong. Just as good as it was for Republicans because of the backlash to Joe Biden in the immediate aftermath of the disastrous Afghanistan pullout in August of 2021. That's when Glenn Youngkin swept into office. A Republican very nearly won the governorship of New Jersey, which would have been a seismic shock. New Jersey also had elections last night, and Republicans were bracing for wins, Democrats bracing for losses. Guess what? Democrats won. Democrats had a better than expected night during the midterms of 2022. Republicans didn't win the governorship of Wisconsin. They didn't take back the Senate. They got far fewer pickups in the House. They did take the House, but by a tiny margin. A couple of months later, the Wisconsin Supreme Court fell to liberals, almost solely on the issue of abortion and liberal governance in a critical swing state. In fact, Democrats have been overperforming in pretty much every single special election this year. According to a New York Times analysis, by an average of 11 points, they're overperforming. Coincidentally, that's what Janet Protasewicz beat Dan Kelly by in the Wisconsin Supreme Court election, 11 points, in a state where races are usually very, very close. You rarely get a race that's more than 3 or 4 points either way. We're a very divided state. We're deep purple. But Democrats have been on an incredible winning streak. And yes, the abortion issue, yes, the marijuana issue are critical. But Republicans have massive advantages on what one would think would be much bigger issues. Foreign policy, spending, fiscal security, money policy, everything, policing, you name it, Republicans have a sizable advantage when you ask that generic question. Who's better on this issue, Republicans or Democrats? Republicans or Democrats? It's always Republicans. The Republican Party, though, has a very serious brand issue. And I'm not going to get my date wrong again. It's not Tuesday. But I do believe in the next segment, we do need to do a little Hard Truth Tuesday on Wednesday about the very well-known head of the Republican Party.
Talk Radio redefined. Dan O'Donnell will be right back.
Dan O'Donnell here for my amazing friends at Built-Right Furniture, Leather, and Mattresses. Built-Right's Black November deals plus Veterans Day sale is on now. Shop where the O'Donnell family shops. 4 generations, 95 years strong. Now more than ever is the time to support Built-Right, a locally and family-owned business since 1928. Built-Right's 45,000 square foot showroom, you'll find thousands of items in stock, plus 500 mattresses for guaranteed delivery by the holidays. Sofas, love seats, sectionals, all in stock, plus 150 recliners in stock, 64 dining sets, plus 35 Amish-made sets in stock, 48 styles of PowerLift recliners in stock, 28 styles of sleepers sofas in love seats, full and queen sizes in stock, and much, much more. Shop Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Sunday. They're closed to be with family. Tell them Dan sent you to Built-Right at 54th and Layton in Greenfield.
See all those plans on your calendar?
Yeah.
The appointments, the dinner dates?
What about them?
Cancel them.
What?
You heard me. Cancel everything.
Why?
Because once you relax on the Miles sectional sofa from Penny Mustard, you'll never want to leave your house ever again.
That's a pretty bold claim.
I'm serious. Once you're completely ensconced in the Miles sectional sofa, the outside world will cease to exist.
Okay.
This is your new home. You and the sofa become one.
Sounds kind of nice.
Sounds kind of weird.
You'll relax here. You'll sleep here. You'll eat here, build blanket forts here, and even vacation here.
The Miles sofa is crazy comfortable.
This isn't just another piece of fancy furniture. This is your emotional support sofa.
The Miles sectional sofa, American-made with ultra-high-density foam and hundreds of fabric options,
including kid and pet-friendly fabrics.
Starting at $90.28 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
Better versions of what people want.
Penny Mustard Furnishing.
Dan O'Donnell here with This Week with Annex Wealth Management, joined by the president and CEO of Annex, Dave Spano. And this week, as we move into November, markets seem to shake off a couple of weeks, if not months, of bad news. And we're moving into, Dave, what is typically one of the best seasons for the markets all year.
Yeah, that's right. Last week, the S&P 500 was up 5.9%, and the NASDAQ up 6.6% respectively. Those are the biggest weekly gains since November of 2022. So you are exactly right about that. And it was kind of pushed in large part by the U.S. Treasury yields starting to come back down. But as you pointed out, November has been the best month for the S&P 500 since 1950, 75 years going back. So that really does mean that we're entering into a seasonally good time of the year at the same time that the Fed is starting to signal that they may be at the end of their rate hiking schedule. So all of this really means, if that is true, what does your portfolio look like, and is it positioned correctly if interest rates are at a peak? Think about what that means for equities, to fixed income, to even mortgages. Make sure you get an assessment of your status, and this is important, Dan, from a fee-only fiduciary that has in-house comprehensive team.
Annex Wealth Management, of course, it's a free wealth metric. It's a review of your portfolio to help you know what you own, why you own it, and whether you're able to respond to what's only going to be more uncertainty in the markets as we are now less than a year from the 2024 presidential election. Head to annexwealth.com to take advantage of that. For Dave Spano, he's the president and CEO of Annex. I'm Dan O'Donnell. You've been listening to This Week with Annex Wealth Management.
It's obvious the unthinkable is happening. With all the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming. But a few did. Their guts told them something very wrong was going on. And now the headlines are proving them right. The people in charge keep telling you that everything's fine and to stop noticing. But you know better. Folks are investing in emergency food storage, and you should too. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, are the ones you can trust. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one for each family member. My Patriot Supply also sells biomass stoves, off-grid room heaters for when the power goes out, gravity-powered water filters, heirloom seeds, and survival gear that may come in handy soon. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hassellus.
If Hassellus Mattress doesn't have employees, how do customers buy mattresses?
Easy. Just order by phone, online, or at our in-store kiosk.
Also, why say you slept like a baby when babies don't sleep well?
I don't know about babies, but you sleep better having paid way less. Through Monday, get a $200 credit towards your new Serta Perfect Sleeper, Beauty Rest, or Sealy Posturepedic mattress, and free next-day delivery.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Hospitalized medicine doesn't want you dead. Unfortunately, they also don't want you healthfully out of the profit matrix. At Total Health, our goal is to restore health so you don't need treatment. It's not theory. Relativity equals expertise plus execution. TotalHealthInc.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. Need a new garage door? Do it right. Don't think twice. Call Geis.
For all your garage door needs, don't think twice. Call Geis or visit their online showroom at geisstores.com.
The Dan O'Donnell Show, classical conservatism, contemporary style. Hope that bumper music wasn't playing a little too long. No? Nobody was worried that I sort of passed out in my office somewhere? I'm just going to be completely honest with you folks. We're going to have to end the Dan O'Cam stream a little early today. I had to record the final segment of the show. What? Why say that? Because I want to be honest. I want to be totally honest and transparent with the audience. Because they're going to wonder why there's no stream for the last 5 minutes and why we're ending 5 minutes early. I agreed to do a hit on Newsmax TV. And normally these hits are like 11:30 Central Time, so fine. And I said, well, when's the hit time going to be? They said, 11 o'clock to 11:45. And I said, okay, so one or two hits in there. And they said, no, you're going to be on camera from 11 to 11:45. I said, what? Okay, I guess I don't know, co-hosting a show on Newsmax. I suspect what it is. And I'll be honest with you, folks, because I'm doing stuff afterwards. I haven't watched my buddy, John Bachman, great broadcaster, great friend. Haven't watched his show. I'm on his show, but I don't get a chance to watch it very often. My guess is that I'll be kind of on standby, and they'll bring in the panel after they have a reporter on or whatever to talk about random stuff. So everyone knows about the devastating impact of the abortion issue on Republicans ever since the Supreme Court decided Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health. Everybody understands this. Everybody, and I put out a missive on Twitter last night that, look, I don't want legalized marijuana. I think it is a terrible public policy. Oh boy, is there another? Hey, Dave, put up Fox News. Never mind. The protester just got led away. Jim Jordan is holding a hearing on anti-Semitism on college campuses. Sure enough, there's a pro-Palestinian protester screaming and interrupting things. Yeah. Oh, wait. Is she back? Oh, it's Bill Hemmer talking anyway. Okay, so, yeah, I see. And, folks, there is rarely ever any diversity in the lib protesters who disrupt these congressional hearings. It is always a white woman wearing a mask, slightly overweight. Always. Lefties, you folks preach diversity. Can we have some diversity in your left-wing Antifa goons? Can we have, I'm not asking for a 10. Can we get an 8.5? Can we get a solid 7 to protest stop oil? Okay, here we go. And then when it's the dudes, it is invariably shoulder-length hair, spindly arms, hair parted down the middle, kind of wavy brown hair, and with a punch-me-in-the-face. Always. Yeah, and they're always named Kyle or Chad or Bennett. And you know every single one of them's got a trust fund. Every single one. Every last one. So I am calling for diversity in my left-wing Antifa goons. Where are all the transgender Antifa goons? Well, actually, maybe that would explain why all of the females are slightly overweight. See, I'm thinking here. Hard Truth Tuesday on Wednesday. You cannot ignore the Trump factor in this. Every single poll says the exact same thing. Republicans love him. And they do. Republicans don't decide elections, neither do Democrats, neither do left-wing Antifa goons. They are already baked into the equation in persuadables in terms of the undecided voters, the leaners, those who might otherwise vote for a Republican because they think Joe Biden is a terrible candidate. What we are seeing from them is because of the Republican Party brand. And the Republican Party brand right now, folks, is Trump. When you think of Republican, better yet, when the average person on the street thinks of Republican, who do they think of? Reagan? Bush? Old Abe Lincoln? Newt Gingrich? No, it's Trump. Trump is omnipresent. Why I still say we're in the Trump era is because the media has ensured that all the focus is on him. They did the exact same strategy throughout 2015 to ensure that he was the candidate, the one that the media and Democrats, Hillary Clinton's campaign, even said it in a memo. They knew he would be the easiest to beat, so they're going to pump him up so that he's the candidate, and then they beat him. Don't believe me? Listen to David Axelrod. 2 days ago, Axelrod on Twitter was saying Biden needs to drop out of the race. Do you know what he's saying today? Yeah, Biden's still in a bad spot, but at least he's running against Trump.
The territory of one-term presidents.
Yes.
Going back to Jimmy Carter, I had jotted this down. Jimmy Carter was at 32%. That's worse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's about as good as it
and
can
he
get.
lost. Look, the difference here is that he isn't running against Ronald Reagan. He's not running against some fresh face. He's running against Donald Trump. And that's what gives him hope. And I think
Who is
also
the only other person at that low level, close to that low level.
I mean, his numbers are equally bad.
They are. What if Biden was running against a fresh face? Now, of course, New York Times Siena College poll showed Biden losing to Trump in all the critical swing states. I will grant you that. Voters also in that same poll, are you more likely, less likely, or just as likely to vote for Donald Trump following a criminal conviction? This would probably track with common sense. Overwhelming majority, something like 60% of undecideds, of persuadable voters, I would be less likely to vote for Trump after a criminal conviction. A criminal conviction is almost at this point fait accompli. It is an inevitability. He is facing 4 criminal cases. And what this has, as we have established really since the first case was brought in New York by Alvin Bragg, this was designed not only to get Trump, to weaken him politically, and to just satiate the Democrats' political bloodlust to destroy their enemy, not just defeat him, but destroy him. But also, what happened to Trump's polling? Trump was running almost dead even with Ron DeSantis until the moment Alvin Bragg brought those charges. And then Republicans came back home because they rallied around Trump. Heck, I have been the loudest voice saying to anyone who will listen and explaining in painstaking detail why all of these charges against Trump are A, unconstitutional in the case of the quote-unquote election-denying ones in both Georgia and the federal case regarding that, and also not actually crimes with respect to the New York case and also the classified documents case. We have spent countless hours on this program knocking those down. The reality is that Democrats have they have assumed that they're going to run against Donald Trump since November 7th, 2020, when the race was first called for Joe Biden. They've wanted to run against Trump. They've beaten him already. Folks, there is a long history. Just look at Wisconsin. once you run for an office, you're elected to the office, and you lose the office, it is very difficult to win it again. One guy in the history of America has done it in the presidency, and that's Grover Cleveland. One guy. There's a reason George H.W. Bush didn't run again in 1996. There's a reason Al Gore didn't run again in 2004. If anything, Gore might have had, by then, an even bigger voice and even bigger presence with all the climate change stuff. Although I think Inconvenient Truth didn't come out until later. But wouldn't he have had an incredible claim? Say, hey, I actually won in 2000. Democrats still believe 2000 was stolen. Ironically, they now charge candidates for saying an election was stolen from them. Gore didn't run again. Nobody thought, hey, let's run Al Gore again. There's a reason for that, because once the American people make up your mind, you don't get another shot. We saw it in the Supreme Court race. Dan Kelly was appointed to the position by Governor Walker. He lost his bid. The Wisconsin voters passed judgment on him. He lost. He lost by a bigger margin when he ran again. We're going to step aside a little bit early because I want to take some extra time for the Unhinged Liberal of the Day segment, because it's a fun one. We are going to get a TikTok user's nicknames for white people. You heard me correctly. Dan O'Donnell Show coming back. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. With summer in our rearview mirror, it's time for Truck Month at Lynch with Silverados, Sierras, Rams, and F-150s, heavy duties and diesels. Lynch has them all, and they have over 400 trucks on the ground right now. Nobody sells for less than Lynch, and nobody has you better protected than Lynch. With a standard 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty on pre-owned vehicles, they also cover your windshield, road hazards, and paint. They really know how to take care of you and your family, and that's why I tell all my friends about Lynch. Get ready for the fall and tailgate season. It's Truck Month, with over 400 trucks in stock at the Lynch family of dealerships. Shop now online at shoplynch.com. Once again, that's shoplynch.com.
I'm Dr. Jennifer Grieve at Reset Restore MD. Working in the ER, I've seen the anguish, pain, and despair that people suffering from chronic pain, depression, anxiety, addiction, and PTSD experience many times. I did everything in my power to provide relief, knowing many times the relief would be temporary. Now I'm doing more. I've founded Reset Restore MD to treat root causes for many people who cannot escape depression, anxiety, PTSD, and chronic pain. R&R for Relief, Reset Restore MD, rnrmd.com.
You don't have to move up north to feel like you live up north. Trees on the Move has an evergreen sale now. We're slashing prices and clearing out our inventory. Save big on 6-foot to 12-foot arborvitae, Norway spruce, and white pines. There's still plenty of time to add winter privacy screening in your landscape this fall. Save up to 75% at Trees on the Move evergreen sale Monday through Friday 8 to 4. Or see us at treesonthemove.com.
Yes, planning to planting, trees on the move.
Crystal Clear water conditioning products by S&K Pump and Plumbing are the answer to your problem water. If iron, hardness, or odor are giving you nightmares, their water treatment specialists are ready and eager to tackle your problems. They feature water softeners, iron filters, water purifiers, and more. The answer to your problem water is Crystal Clear. Call them today.
When it comes to water, one call does it all. S&K Pump and Plumbing.
Winter is coming, and that garage attached to your house, you know, the one your car is supposed to be parked in, is full of the kids' bikes, tools, lawnmower, the fishing boat, and everything except your vehicles. Don't get caught in the cold this winter brushing off your car. It's time to free up your car garage with a hobby building by Everlast Structures. Be prepared with the winter building sale at Everlast Structures. Get 5% off now through October. Spots are limited, so visit everlaststructures.com today for information. That's everlaststructures.com.
Well, that's why you have to check out our website. We're pretty proud of our before and after photos because they show off just how good we really are. I can confidently say that whatever you bring us, we're going to use every bit of magic we have to turn it into a one-of-a-kind work of art. So if you're looking for the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. Mullally, finishing.com. If it's worth restoring, we're going to tell you. If it's not worth the cost of restoring, then we're going to give you an honest answer. You don't stay in the furniture finishing business for nearly 50 years unless you're honest and talented. Luckily, we're both. And that means all of your expectations will be met. So if you want only the finest in furniture finishing and heirloom restoration, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Today's Dan O'Donnell program is brought to you by Great Midwest Bank. Whether you're ready to buy, build, or renovate, Great Midwest Bank takes the stress out of paying for it. Get started today at greatmidwestbank.com.
All year long, Klaus Roofing Systems by Buck Buckley offers free replacement roof repair and gutters. 100% satisfaction is the Klaus Roofing way. For a free estimate, visit klausroofingbybuck.com and put a Klaus on your house.
A tour de force of truth. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's not what you want to hear. Sometimes you may even be cursing at your radio. But I promise you, it is always going to be the truth. Never fear. We also have some fun sprinkled in here, like our unhinged liberal of the day.
Trump is Hitler.
We are in pre-Nazi Germany.
All white people are racist.
Trump is dangerous because he's evil.
America is over.
Today's unhinged liberal of the day is a woman on TikTok, found by our friends at, yes, Libs of TikTok, who has a running list of nicknames for white people that she has in alphabetical order and shared on the Chinese spy app, popular video sharing service.
Bruh, y'all were asking for my white people insert collection. I got y'all. We don't gatekeep around here. Y'all can save this video if you want to, or you can pause it just to see. This is A through a little bit of C. So you can save this video or whatever and look at what you need to look at.
Y'all, here are some of the nicknames that this woman has for white people. In alphabetical order. Very easy to catalog. Ash Ape. Yes, Ash Ape. Arctic Menace. Because you see white, Arctic. Then we get to B. She kind of gave up after 2 on A's. We have Baking Soda Slugs. Beach Flamingos. Birch Trees. Bleached Snow Monkey. Blizzard. She has a certain way with words. You want some C? Cauliflower Conqueror. She's got a ton of C ones, by the way. Cheddar Cheese Chimps. A lot of these weirdly have to do with monkeys, apes, the sort of thing that would be insanely racist if it were the other way. Should we go to D? Can't use that one. Wow, she's got a lot with that word. Miss Marge. Discharged. It's time of the month. So I didn't want to give the mental image. It's just Discharge Snowdrop, Discharge Demon, Discharge Donkey, Discharge Doggy. Then there's Dove Soap. E, Expired Milk. Oh, she just keeps going. Let's see. J, you could tell she was really struggling with J. You could put the music down, Dave. This woman clearly your unhinged liberal of the day. I was fascinated. I spent way more time than I should have before the show started this morning reading off some of this woman's nicknames. She really struggled with J. She only has Jamless Gypsies. This was the biggest shocker of all. She did spell gypsies correctly. I thought it would be Jamless and then like Jipsies. It wasn't. H, Hidden Valley Ranch. Hueless Crayons. Hueless Hooligans. As you could imagine, a lot of the I's have to do with ice. You know, ice is, well, clear, but it's snow, ice, white. Ice chimps. She is really on this chimp thing. Basically, she just takes chimp, finds some sort of adjective that starts with the letter she needs, and then boom, new nickname. Ice Mice, iPhone Light Mode, Ivory Individuals, and Ice Scorpions. All right, I've got to see. She's got to get a little flummoxed by... Oh, she doesn't even try X. Here's a question. Does she know the letter X exists? Is she aware that it goes WXYZ? Because she just goes WYZ with her nicknames. V, do you want to guess what every single nickname starts with? What word? V. Vanilla. Yep, you got it. Vanilla Crickets, Vanilla Gorillas, Vanilla Vultures, Vanilla Villagers. Yes, she does use white for W. White Board, White Blood Cells, White Mutation, White Walker, and Wonder Bread. And then Z, there we go, I got to forward it a little bit. Well, she goes to Y. Yogurt Yodelers, Yeast Yeti, and then Z is, and this one I don't get. Zen Zebras. Is she unaware that zebra, kind of the thing they're known for, is having a whole lot of black in them, like black stripes? I'm telling you, that is just, it's funny. It's like this is when the great Michael Savage said all those decades ago, liberalism is a mental disorder. It is. And you know what's amazing is I just spent 7 minutes doing nothing but running down derogatory nicknames for white people. Will I get in trouble at all by anyone? Will this woman? Of course not. Ask yourself why that might be. Rashida Tlaib finally censured. We'll have the story coming up after the news.
News that's factual, fair, and balanced. This is continuing coverage on News Talk 1130 WISN, Milwaukee.
Good morning, I'm Ted Allen. Another amendment to the American Family Field Improvements Bill is being offered. Republican Senator Dan Fine of Fond du Lac says his amendment is aimed at building enough Senate support to pass the bill. It's already been approved by the Assembly. $36 million reduction in the state contribution would be covered through a ticket tax on non-brewer events. Brewers would pay an additional $10 million for a total of just over $150 million. Assembly Speaker Robin Vos said yesterday he wouldn't object to the ticket tax on non-brewer events.
I don't think that's unreasonable. I think if it's allocated toward reducing the state share, that's a win for everybody.
The man accused of killing a pregnant woman in a reckless driving crash in Milwaukee last week is facing 3 felony charges. Prosecutors yesterday filed formal charges against 20-year-old Frank Mosley. Police say Mosley stole a car, sped away from Wauwatosa police, ran a red light and smashed into a woman who was driving along Capitol Drive last Thursday. The woman he hit was about 2 months pregnant. Both she and her baby died. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken has restated U.S. disapproval to having Israel reoccupy the Gaza Strip at the end of its war with Hamas. Blinken's comments came after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said his country will have overall security responsibility for Gaza for an indefinite period after the war ends. Checking the WISN Sports Scoreboard, the Bucks are back in action tonight against the Detroit Pistons at the Fiserv Forum. News Talk 1130 WISN will be airing the third Republican presidential debate live from Miami. That broadcast will begin tonight at 7. From the Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin News Center, I'm Ted Allen, News Talk 1130 WISN.
The news is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Right now, the prices of diamonds are probably the lowest we'll see in our lifetime.
Diamond prices are low, low, low. Here's why.
It was hard to meet new people during COVID.
When a person meets their soulmate, they usually get engaged about 39 months later.
People started dating again only about 36 months ago.
Most of the people who got engaged during COVID
or immediately after COVID
were already in a relationship before the COVID lockdown began.
The Wall Street Journal even published a story about all of this.
Low sales of engagement rings created a worldwide oversupply of diamonds.
But now, engagement ring sales are beginning to pick up again.
By the end of next spring, this temporary oversupply will be gone.
And diamond prices will start climbing like crazy.
If you ever wanted to own a big diamond, this is the year to do it.
Find the Kesslers nearest you
and see our extended holiday hours
at KesslersDiamonds.com.
If you want to own a big diamond, the time is now.
Here's the latest forecast from the Fox 6 weather experts.
It's a wet Wednesday. Should pick up a half-inch worth of rain in some spots at least. Around 54 for the high. We'll drop down to around 40 tonight as we slowly dry up. Gets a little windier heading into Thursday, but we get the sunshine back. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Grand Appliance. Skip the Black Friday crowds. Grand Appliance has Black Friday prices all November long, plus hundreds in rebate savings on top brands like LG, KitchenAid, Samsung, and more. Save at grandappliance.com or your local showroom. That's Grand Appliance, appliance expert since 1930.
Some choices are easy. Eyelid rejuvenation for your baggy, tired eyes? Dr. Bruce Massaro, that's me. But breast dogs, tummy tucks, skin care, facelifts, cataract surgeries? Well, that's a long list. Choose your eyelid surgeon wisely. Visit liddoc.com.
Hi, this is Diane Chamness. Tune in to Business Solutions this Saturday as we discuss important and informative business topics and provide helpful information to businesses just like yours. Get great advice from local and regional experts on how to improve and grow your firm.
Listen for Business Solutions this Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m.
Elmbrook Family Dental in Brookfield just keeps growing and impressing. Mary had the same dentist for over 40 years and had to make a change due to insurance. She says she's very happy with the whole experience and says, I would recommend them to anyone. Thank you for making it such a wonderful experience. Sally became a new patient after she needed urgent attention to a chipped tooth. She says the doctor repaired it painlessly and says everyone from the receptionist to the caregivers were truly excellent. Yeah, Elmbrook Family Dental does functional rehab for people whose teeth are constantly chipping or brittle. They also do implants, veneers, and cosmetic fixes, Invisalign. They even have a board-certified sleep dentist who deals with sleep and CPAP issues. This group's founders set out to create a one-stop shop for all of your oral and dental needs, and they've done it. These doctors have a wide range of experience in all areas of dentistry and even coordinate with experienced oral surgeons on most severe cases. Oh, and if you find yourself in Mary's situation, they are an in-group network preferred provider for most dental insurance groups. Find them at elmbrookfamilydental.com.
I'm Brett Ochtenhagen, owner of Brett Ochtenhagen Seasonal Services, and I'm so proud to be a father, a husband, an entrepreneur, a Christian, and an American. My wife Amy and I did our best to educate our children about our reasons for embracing traditional values. This summer, Amy and I became empty nesters, and now our young adults are in the real world with the American dream in their heads, their hearts, and soon it will be in their hands to share with others. God is good. Marriage and children are a blessing. Capitalism works, and America is grand. She is rich with beautiful places to explore. She's a melting pot of beautiful people. Diverse? Yes. But we are still blessed to have so much in common. Ignore the politicians and the media who sow seeds of hate. Let's embrace the wonders of life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness in America. Join me in discovering the wonders of nature and the wonders of America.
Jesse Kelly here. Do you feel protected? My personal protection plan is owning gold. The Oxford Gold Group helps you buy gold to have on hand or convert it into your 401k. If things get weird, I have gold on hand. I like that. You can buy coins or convert part of your 401k with the Oxford Gold Group. It's easy and safe. 833-995-GOLD. That's 833-995-GOLD. 833-995-GOLD.
Be sure to listen to the NX Wealth Management Investment Show Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday afternoons at 1 on News Talk 1130 WISN. NX provides its expertise to arm listeners with the knowledge and tools to invest wisely. NX Wealth Management. Know the difference.
Sunday, the Packers battle the Steelers in Pittsburgh. Coverage begins with Packers Game Day at 8 a.m. on your home for the Packers. 97.3 The Game.
When does a word or phrase not mean what it obviously means? When Democrats need it to mean something totally different. For example, you might recall a year ago, a recession was very suddenly no longer 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth or a GDP contraction. Nobody ever used that definition. Biden didn't steer the country into a recession a year after the COVID back-to-work reopening caused a massive explosion in economic output relative to the previous couple of quarters. No one had ever used that to mean recession. It was never, ever, ever 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. It never ceases to amaze me the powers that liberals have to just redefine words, to just redefine reality to suit their political whims. The latest one, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. The river refers to the Jordan River. The sea refers to the Mediterranean Sea. There's a big old chunk of land right in between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. What do you suppose it is? Starts with an I, ends with a genocidal apartheid state. Israel, obviously. Now, when you have people who believe that Israel, falsely believe, I might add, Israel is a genocidal apartheid state, do you want me to very quickly debunk these? Is Israel committing genocide? 1967, population of Palestinians, 1 million. Today, population of Palestinians, 5.5 million. No genocide. Is Israel an apartheid state? 10 Arab Muslims currently serve in Israel's parliament. There is currently a Muslim member of the Israeli Supreme Court. Muslims, Christians, everyone has identical citizenship rights in Israel. Boom, narrative over. When you have people who believe that Israel is this rogue terror state, ironically, because Israel was just the victim of the worst terror attack across the globe in a long time, and you say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free, it rather obviously means we want to replace Israel with a Palestinian state. For instance, there is a map in Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib's office that doesn't have Israel on it, just Palestine from the river to the sea. Now, what do you suppose would have happened to Israel? What do you suppose would happen to all the Jewish people who once lived there? Seems pretty clear, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free is a call for the eradication of Israel. Most normal people understand this, but not fellow Michigan Congresswoman Debbie Dingell.
I spent all weekend in Michigan this last weekend talking to all the communities about the meaning of this phrase. And there are very strong feelings on all sides. And it's very clear that people interpret words in different ways. Personally, I choose not to use a phrase that is offensive to some and that many perceive as a threat. But I also take seriously living in a country that does not restrict, forbid, or censor free speech.
So what else could that mean? She, of course, doesn't say her time was up. Now, I choose not to use the offensive phrase. Okay, why not? Is it because those words have a specific meaning, Deborah? I think it is. Before we go any further, Fall Fortune Cash Contest word this hour. Deposit, D-E-P-O-S-I-T. Deposit. You have got until 55 past the hour to go to our website and enter the keyword deposit to enter the contest for this hour. Your entry picked at random. You will win $1,000 in your pocket. Rashida Tlaib was, in fact, censured. A number of Democrats crossed the aisle. She becomes just the 26th member of the House to face censure.
On this vote, the yeas are 234 and the nays are 188, with 4 answering present. The resolution is adopted.
And she's censured. What does that mean? It's basically a formal rebuke. Still, this was devastating enough to Representative Tlaib that she had one of the best displays of fake crying I have heard in quite some time.
I can't believe I have to say this, but Palestinian people are not disposable.
Now, at this point, she starts shuddering. Ilhan Omar comes up, puts her hands on her shoulders. But I want you to hear Tlaib resume speaking after this whimpering crying that you hear right now.
We are human beings, just like anyone else. My city, my grandmother, like all Palestinians, just wants to live her life with freedom and human dignity we all deserve.
Okay, now, she's talking about her city. She's very disturbed. Now listen to the last 20 seconds of her speech.
Speaking up to save lives, Mr. Chair, no matter faith, no matter ethnicity, should not be controversial in this chamber. The cries of the Palestinian and Israeli children sound no different to me. Why? What I don't understand is why the cries of Palestinians sound different to you all.
I want to know why the cries of Rashida Tlaib sound different than everyone else who is actually legitimately crying. She's done this before, by the way. I have a distinct memory of a couple of weeks ago playing Rashida Tlaib trying her darndest to fake cry and do the and yes, we must stand for all Palestinian lives. It's amazing how she can go from a quavering voice to a thundering one. She might be the greatest orator since Cicero, ladies and gentlemen. What she's really got to do is, as any speech coach will tell you, go with what works. You always have to be yourself. The key to giving a successful speech is to be you. Be confident, be powerful, but always be uniquely you. Like, for example, her friend Ilhan Omar. She knows that all she can do is that weird screeching thing that she does, and she does it so well.
What is true here is that every single one of them has not acknowledged the fact that Palestinians are dying in the tens of thousands. But
Okay. Speaking of speech patterns, as enraged as she is, she still does that weird Ilhan Omar thing, where she lifts up her voice at the end of every sentence like she's asking a question. Like, Palestinians are still dying? Israel is committing a genocide? 9/11. Some people did some things? And the real tragedy was anti-Muslim bigotry? Was it? Against my better judgment, here's 17 more seconds of this woman screeching.
We'll continue to say it is us. who are not acknowledging humanity. Rashida will stand strong.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
The movement will continue for liberation until every single Palestinian has the right to live
Gentleman from Maryland
in liberty.
is recognized.
If Ilhan Omar represented Brooklyn and not Minneapolis, she'd totally be out there right now ripping down posters of the missing Jewish people, wouldn't she? Those hostage posters, credit where it's due. John Fetterman has a poster of every single missing Israeli, every single hostage. I shouldn't say they're missing. They're kidnapped. They're suffering unconscionably. He has a missing poster. They're missing posters, like "Have you seen me?" for those who are unfamiliar with this controversy. He's got every single one of I believe there's 238 hostages remaining. You know damn well, if she thought she could get away with it, Ilhan Omar would be ripping down those posters along with AOC and Rashida Tlaib. Hell, you'd have Jamal Bowman ripping down a poster and then telling the press with a straight face, "I thought you had to rip down the poster to get out the door. The door was very confusing. I thought if you ripped down this Jewish baby's picture, the door would magically open." Now, there are, fortunately, a handful, and it is a small handful, but there are a handful of Democrats who have not lost their minds with anti-Semitism. One of them, Josh Gottheimer, voted to censure Tlaib and explained why on CNN.
And I'll be honest with you. I've really grappled with the fact of over the last weeks. One, Ms. Tlaib came out a couple of weeks ago after the hospital bombing, which was awful, the bombing next to the parking lot. But there was news that came out on many stations that actually was Israel doing it, and the truth came out thereafter, not listening to Hamas's intelligence, but to American intelligence, and that was launched by Islamic Jihad, and that bomb that hit next to the hospital. And I asked Ms. Tlaib to please take down the false information, the disinformation that it was Israel that had bombed that hospital. And as you know, she has yet to take that information down or change the story there. And these things have a huge impact on the rest of the world. Millions of people listen to what members of Congress like Ms. Tlaib say, and that disinformation leads to more anti-Semitism. I think it leads to more destruction and terror and death. And now claiming that, and saying that, and repeating River to the Sea on a video that she put out, including saying the President of the United States supports genocide. Those things are just unacceptable, and I think there has to be consequence for saying things that will lead to destruction, anti-Semitism, and terror.
Why are so few Democrats able to say exactly what Gottheimer did? Why is that? That's true, Dave. They don't believe it, sadly. He's right. I checked Tlaib's Twitter account. She still has the Israel bombed the hospital lie. And that wasn't just, oh, hey, we made a mistake. It was widely debunked. She clearly still believes the Hamas health ministry, whose best health advice is always wear a mask and keep social distancing while firing rockets into the Jewish infidels. She still believes it. This wasn't just some, harmless little lie. This led to riots across the Islamic world. This led to a massive wave of protests and angry outbursts and riots and some of the most horrid things imaginable. Yesterday, we put together a montage of all of the just horrific things that are said at these rallies. I want you to tell me if what you've heard from Ilhan Omar or Rashida Tlaib is fundamentally much different.
Palestinians have a right to rebel. What that means is they have a right to fight to free their land from the river to the sea by any means necessary, and I do mean any means necessary.
Long live Palestine. Thank you all for being here, for raising your voices to celebrate the glorious victory of the resistance.
And the several other joyful and powerful images which came from the glorious October 7th.
Yes!
I want you to picture those in your mind. I want you all to remember how you felt when you saw those images and heard the news. I remember feeling so empowered and happy.
Everybody's talking about the woman saying, I felt empowered after October 7th. The guy that really scares me is the one who's going, yes! Yes! Practically orgasmic, thinking about the wholesale slaughter of 1,400 innocent people. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show. We'll be right back after this.
Conservative thought, not just talk.
You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.
Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for the Lynch family of dealerships. With summer in our rearview mirror, it's time for Truck Month at Lynch with Silverados, Sierras, Rams, and F-150s, heavy duties and diesels. Lynch has them all, and they have over 400 trucks on the ground right now. Nobody sells for less than Lynch, and nobody has you better protected than Lynch. With a standard 3-month, 3,000-mile certified warranty on pre-owned vehicles, they also cover your windshield, road hazards, and paint. They really know how to take care of you and your family, and that's why I tell all my friends about Lynch. Get ready for the fall and tailgate season. It's Truck Month, with over 400 trucks in stock at the Lynch family of dealerships. Shop now online at shoplynch.com. Once again, that's shoplynch.com.
Jay Weber here. If you're someone who is experiencing shoulder, hip, or knee pain and a total joint replacement may be in your future, think Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Find them at orthowisconsin.com. At Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, their physicians are committed to providing the highest quality joint care and specialize in same-day total joint replacements at their own ambulatory surgery center in Pewaukee. You can find them at orthowisconsin.com. orthowisconsin.com. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus.
If Hasselus Mattress doesn't have employees, how do customers buy mattresses?
Easy. Just order by phone, online, or at our in-store kiosk.
Also, why say you slept like a baby when babies don't sleep well?
I don't know about babies, but you sleep better having paid way less. Through Monday, get a $200 credit towards your new CertaPerfect Sleeper, Beauty Rest, or Sealy Posturepedic mattress, and free next-day delivery.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
With the holidays upon us, the increase in traveling, shopping, and connecting online also heightens the need to protect your identity and finances with LifeLock. Identity thieves see this time of year as an opportunity to drain your accounts, open new loans in your name, and damage your financial future. LifeLock detects and alerts you to the threats you might miss on your own. Don't let the busy holiday season catch you off guard. Save up to 25% off your first year with promo code CLAY. LifeLock.com, promo code CLAY.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-522-5700. 800-522-5700.
Here's why money, Warshevsky.
Conservatism, contemporary style, and always open for a debate. It is the Dan O'Donnell Show. Got a text here on our AdventNows.com talk and text line from our Baghdad Karen guy. Yes, he's back. He's back. Maybe you, Clay Travis, and Tucker can talk about it. Fox lost $870 million because of the Russ Limbaugh business model. Bill O'Reilly, too. Spin. Dumb white people. Baghdad Karen. Debate? Question mark. Right to work. Obamacare. Politics. Baghdad Karen. Debate? Newt and Robin Voss could help you prep. We actually, because we can see what the phone numbers are that text us on the text line, I actually said to producer Dave, you know what? Against my better judgment, we want to put this guy on the air I know he apparently did learn nothing from Mike in New Berlin. So, I want him to call up and embarrass me in front of thousands and thousands of people. So far, not picking up. 3 times. Dave's trying a 4th time. We did get Mike from New Berlin while I was on the air. Now, for those who don't remember, Mike was a raging anti-Semite. And I debated within myself for a long time whether or not to just hang up on Mike for saying just crazy stuff, for saying just the most insane anti-Semitic things. I'm actually not entirely unconvinced Mike wasn't an alter ego for Rashida Tlaib. Ultimately, I wanted to put him on the air to illustrate the point that people who believe this truly horrid filth are all around us, and they're not always on, quote-unquote, the other side. I'll admit, I want to put the Baghdad Karen guy on the air just because I think it would be absolutely hysterical. But that's just me. Again, liberals, if you want to debate, I am always down. And we actually do have debate rules here on the program. You will get a minute. I've got my cell phone and my watch ready to go. You get a minute. And you might not believe this, but a minute is a long time to make a point. I'm even actually very lenient with time. If you go a minute 10, minute 15, I don't really care. Then I get a minute. Then you get 30 seconds. Then I get 30 seconds. I want you to make your best possible case. It is, in fact, possible to do a rational, reasonable debate. In fact, I would love to hear how Israel is an apartheid, genocidal, maniacal state that is wiping Palestinians off the map. Debate it. You do have to tell producer, if you just come in screaming about how terrible Dan is, chances are he's going to say, hey, you can't really put you on the air. But if you say, hey, I'd like to debate Dan on this, Dave will let me know. It might take a little while because I've got stuff that I do need to do. I can't stop mid-sentence, right, and take you. Some people do think that, though. Like, a lot of times there will be Twitter tough guys. And I'll say, okay, debate me. And they'll call it like 9:06. I say, okay, buddy, I'm sorry. Like, call back in 25 minutes, please. I've got, a thing to do. Can't really do that. But it is interesting that a lot of liberals, especially on the Israel issue, have no real interest in debate. And it was the same thing. It's the same sort of mob mentality that we saw with respect to the racial justice of 2020. That there was no interest in debating, okay, well, what are the facts? Is America actually a systemically racist country? Are black people systemically being hunted down by police officers who hold racist grudges? One of the most easily disprovable things was, are the police directly descended from slave catchers of the 1820s? No, you idiots. No, they're not. They're descended from other policing units across the world. In fact, one of the very first police departments in the country, as we established on an episode of Forgotten History, came about because of a riot at the West Point Military Academy, which led directly to the creation of the New York Police Department. NYPD, one of the most racist police departments supposedly in the history of ever, nothing to do with slave catchers or anything like that. We also try to have a little bit of fun here on the program. That's why we play America's favorite game show. It is called Guess What's Racist. We will be looking for a contestant, and we'll take caller number 19 right now. Caller number 19 at 414-799-1130 or 1-800-838-9476. Guess What's Racist? Coming up next. Hey, Dan O'Donnell here for Mander Collision and Glass, a place I've been recommending for years because they really do treat you like family. But don't just take my word for it. Here's John. I needed a new windshield for my vehicle, so we took it to Mander and we couldn't be happier. We didn't think much about selecting a glass company and figured they were all the same, take a number type operations. but not Mander. Excellent customer service, quick with the replacement, and quality work. They made us feel like we were important to them. I couldn't recommend them more. It is nice to see a business that still cares about their customers. John, Mander really does. And with 5 locations to serve you in Waukesha, Brookfield, Heartland, Cedarburg, and a brand new facility now open in Muskego, Mander truly is your best decision after a collision, and why I've been recommending them as highly as John does. Start your repair today at mandercollision.com.
For more information about contests on News Talk 1130 WISN, go to newstalk1130.com/rules.
A giant roofing industry insider secret is subcontractors.
Subcontractor roofers regularly employ day laborers who couldn't care less about the subcontractors they work for, much less your home.
Vessel Services employee-only roofing professionals are accountable day one of your roofing install and for life with our lifetime roof workmanship warranty.
Every Vessel technician or installer is fully trained and certified to do perfect trim, flashing, and sealant applications on roofing installs. Convenient financing.
Inside, outside, upside, Vessel Services.
VesselServicesToday.com.
Welcome back to Ask Hasselus. I'm Weston. What's your question?
If Hasselus Mattress doesn't have employees, how do customers buy mattresses?
Easy. Once you've tested every Sealy Posturepedic, Beautyrest, or CertaPerfect sleeper at your leisure, just order by phone, online, or at our in-store kiosk.
Also, why do people say they slept like a baby when babies are known for not sleeping well?
Well, I don't know about babies, but you will sleep better having paid way less. Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393. And for shopping local, through Monday, you'll also get an additional $200 credit towards your new CertaPerfect sleeper, Beautyrest, or Sealy Posturepedic mattress, and free next day delivery.
Fantastic. I have more.
Shoot.
If something is described as indescribable, hasn't it been described?
If revenge is a dish best served cold, and revenge is also sweet, is revenge ice cream?
You just blew my mind.
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasselus.com.
If you want a fiduciary guiding your financial plan that will treat your assets as if they were their own, go to FinancialStrategiesInc.com.
Financial strategies, what's the way to build your wealth?
Whether it was from a burn, heat, water, or a candle wax spill, if you have a great piece of wood furniture that has a damaged top, don't worry, because if we have to, we can refinish tops only. Other places may say you need to refinish the whole piece, but we can do better than that. So don't let your great piece go to waste. If it's just the top you need refinished, or for jobs of any size, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. Serving everywhere. Quality counts. MULLALY finishing.com. He was told it would cost him $1,000 to refinish his chair. But when it was done, he'd be able to sell it for at least twice that. Only to find out that he paid more to refinish the chair than it was actually worth. You gotta watch out for dishonest people out there, but not over here. With over 50 years of experience, we'll give you a good idea of the value of your piece and whether it's worth refinishing. So for honest answers, by golly, it's Mullally. Mullally Furniture Finishing and Repair. We're no job's too small. Serving everywhere. Quality counts.
Join News Talk 1130 this Saturday at 4 p.m. for The Word on Medicine, the show that brings you the latest medical innovations and discoveries by physicians and scientists at the Medical College of Wisconsin. That's Saturday afternoon at 4 on News Talk 1130 WISN.
Want to sell your house fast for cash? Don't waste time listing your home. With Metro Milwaukee Homebuyer, get a fair cash offer. Choose your own closing date. No commissions or repair costs. We buy houses for cash, any condition, anywhere in Milwaukee. Go to MetroMilwaukeeHomebuyer.com.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere. But the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
AdventKnows.com.
wide.
iHeart Podcast Update. This week on your free iHeartRadio app.
Sex, lies, and spray tans. We'll take you all the way back to Dancing with the Stars Season 1 and up through today for all the dance floor drama. Next question with Katie Couric. Katie brings the thoughtful, inquisitive, relatable style to a slew of new and intimate conversations with some of the most fascinating and innovative people in news, politics, and pop culture. The Uppity Knitter Podcast with Saida Garrett, featuring musicians that Saida is friends with discussing their interesting and unusual hobbies.
Hear these podcasts and more on your free iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
We will get to Guess What's Racist very shortly. We already have our contestant. She is standing by. She is ready to test her mettle in America's favorite game show, where she has to determine what totally benign thing is suddenly and unforgivably racist. First, do want to preview the third GOP presidential debate. Why? I don't know. We are airing it on our flagship station, WISN. Is there any buzz for this whatsoever? Zero. That's my point. Would there be all sorts of buzz for this if just one guy was taking part in it? You'd better believe it. The fact that President Trump isn't taking part, what is interesting, though, is that the field has been winnowed again. Farewell, Doug Burgum and Doug Burgum's eyebrows. We hardly knew ye. It's going to be Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Ron DeSantis, Chris Christie, and who am I missing? Pence suspended his campaign. Tim Scott. Thank you. That's it. On that stage, there are a grand total of 2 who actually have a legitimate shot of beating Trump, and even they, I think, would be considered extreme long shots at best. DeSantis and Haley. Christie isn't running a campaign for anything other than, well, the jerk in me would say, the free meals. But what he's campaigning for a pundit slot on ABC News or CNN or Fox News. He's campaigning for a cushy podcast or something where he gets to be the anti-Trump Republican. It's just so transparent. Tim Scott is a nice guy, a good politician. He's a black Republican, which does go a long way. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Has he done anything to distinguish himself? I still maintain that Scott is running to be Trump's vice president, as is Nikki Haley, regardless of what she's said. It's rather obvious Trump is going to, if I were a betting man, I would say it's almost a certainty that Trump picks a woman to be his running mate. Vivek Ramaswamy has been campaigning, same thing as Christie, for clout, for influence, for a spot in a Trump cabinet, possibly as a running mate, but he's not really gaining much traction. DeSantis and Haley are the only ones who are showing up consistently in polls, even in double digits. Ultimately, I'm not sure any of this is really going to matter. If the polls are to be believed, and I have little doubt that Trump is the overwhelming favorite, even in Iowa, and it seems as though DeSantis has pretty much hinged his hopes on Iowa. Chris Christie is pinning his hopes on New Hampshire. Haley, I think, is hoping to upset DeSantis and Trump in Iowa. And then what all of these candidates want is likely something that they're never going to get, and that's a one-on-one race against Trump. Remember in 2016, there was this huge Never Trump movement, and I'll admit I was not totally sold on Trump as a conservative. I thought my biggest issue with Trump is that Trump has survived on public affection and adoration. I don't think it's an insult. It's merely a statement of fact to say Trump is quite narcissistic. Trump loves compliments. Trump loves media attention. Well, what happens if he gets all sorts of media attention and love for doing increasingly liberal things? He never did. I was pleased to admit that I was wrong about him. He governed from the right. He was a non-traditional neoconservative mold Republican. That mold was broken with Trump. The Nixonian let's open markets to China, the free trade era of republicanism was sort of done with the North America, Mexico, U.S.-Mexico trade agreement, Canada, I forget what it was called. It replaced NAFTA. And he was able to govern, especially with respect to, and this is where I think you would see a huge, huge difference, would be on foreign policy, where he was much more, I'll call it neo-isolationist, sort of America first on policy. At the same time, though, he is such a big personality and such a divisive personality that I think Republicans would be better served, as Democrats were, in running against Trump with a more nondescript candidate. That's just me. We'll, of course, talk about this in the next segment. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is time now to play America's favorite game show.
Guess What's Racist?
Did I just hit something? Let's try this again. What's America's favorite game show?
Guess What's Racist?
That freaked me out a little bit. All of a sudden, it stopped mid-word. Apparently, the theme song is racist now. Who knew? It is America's favorite game show where we ask you, our listener contestants, to tell us what totally normal thing is suddenly and unforgivably bigoted. Our contestant today comes to us from Waterford. Please say hello to Ricky. Ricky, you're on Guess What's Racist. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dan. How are you?
I am doing very well. So, are you familiar with how we play our game, Ricky?
I am.
You are. So, for those who aren't, I am going to give Ricky a list of 3 things. Those 3 things are going to be related. None of those 3 things are going to be racist on their face. It's not going to be like, guess what's racist? Hitler or David Duke? No, we don't play the game like that. Actually, it would be Hitler, David Duke, or Al Sharpton. Guess what's racist? No. I'm going to give her 3 benign things, and this is why it's so difficult, because those 3 things aren't racist at all. Ricky, are you ready to play?
I am ready.
All right, Ricky. Guess what's racist? Buying a home, renting a home, or selling a home?
I'll say buying a home.
I'm sorry, it is in fact renting a home. This according to Sky News across the pond. White people are 36% more likely to receive a positive response when applying to rent on Spare Room, which is a site where you can rent, yes, a spare room or a full apartment, than black people. What the authors of this study did was to use artificial intelligence to set up 2 fake profiles, a black one and a white one, on the rental website Spare Room. The only differences in their details were their names and their skin color. White people were 36% more likely to get a rental on Spare Room, an offer of a rental, or at least some sort of positive response, than black people, which means clearly renting an apartment is racist. This is part of we're going to start, I think, with the rise of artificial intelligence technology. Ricky, we're going to see more and more questions here on Guess What's Racist dealing with the racist nature of artificial intelligence, primarily because we're going to see a whole lot of articles we already have about just how racist the computer fake brain is. All right, you're 0 for 1, Ricky, but I've got faith. Guess what's racist? Racial economics, social economics, or environmental economics?
Ooh, I will say environmental.
That is correct. In fact,
right.
Racism in environmental economics was the subject of a recent podcast on NPR. And because it's NPR, I believe I have to do my NPR voice. Systemic racism can unintentionally permeate research in the field of environmental and natural resource economics. Our guests consider how historically racist policies and practices can affect research data and analysis, and in turn, produce findings which may render outcomes that discriminate. You see, environmental economics and environmental justice, this is a whole field of study. For instance, why a power plant would be near a red-lined neighborhood, that sort of thing. How many trees are in a given neighborhood? Heck, even the presence or absence of different bird species can be racist. Now, Ricky, there's a big article in the Los Angeles Times a couple of weeks ago. All right, your final question, Ricky. Guess what's racist? Math, science, or English?
I will say English.
That is... I'm sorry, incorrect. It was, in fact, science. An article from Futurity. Black female science teachers find ways to incorporate anti-racist teachings into their classrooms. This according to a brand new study. Of course, if there is a whole lot of need for anti-racism in science, this would mean there's probably a whole lot of racism in science. This work, according to Futurity, considers what science content or exploration means for students and teachers who employ their racialized, gendered, and classed experiences. It asks, how or in what ways do black women teachers talk about their implementation of anti-racist practices through their science teaching? Science is now racist. Not bad, Ricky. You went 1 for 3. 33% is a very good batting average, and frankly, it's pretty darn good here on Guess What's Racist, because as we have determined, anything at any time can be racist. Thank you so much for playing, Ricky. Really did enjoy having you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well, the pleasure, as always, is mine. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to America's favorite game show, Guess What's Racist.